What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stokastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Lanes, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become a president of our great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. And I like to think it's great content because, well, 2 times in the last month, I have given you 2 home runs. Again, it's not something that should be showing up from time to time. The other time I gave you somebody to hit 2 home runs, they still hit a home run, so that was cool. But otherwise, Kyle Schwarber a month ago, just over a month ago now, and then, well, actually, no, it was less than a month ago. And then, well, the Cal Raleigh one was awesome, but we're not going to brag too much here on this program. Plus 3,600 over on FanDuel if you got it. The DraftKings one plus 2,200. The exact number I was actually projecting it for, so that was interesting. But yeah, 3,600, pretty stark difference there. I know some people, you have different sports books that you have exposure to. Again, that's why you want to sign up for everyone. You have an opportunity to sign up at Hard Rock. I understand in Florida, a lot of Floridians, you guys are forced into one book. I know in Maine, DraftKings, you're forced into one book. But for everybody else who can sign up at multiple books, get exposure everywhere. We'll talk about a BetMGM here a little bit later, as well as Odd Shopper, which you can sign up down below. And then you can get my premium betting card every single Monday through Friday. Kind of a weird one here. We ended up, bet the Mets last night, ended up on them again. Numbers were moving around like crazy there, but happy that Patrick Corbin finally died. Why won't you die? I was just thinking of Austin Powers the whole time. Also, I understand that some people don't necessarily like all my talking throughout this, but I like to explain my picks so you know what I'm looking at. We can kind of converse, and hey, then we can have some good back and forth rather than just me telling you a play. There's a lot of programming out there. You can watch a lot of other stuff, but I try to give you the best stuff, and the only way I know how to do that is to talk through it. So let's do that here. We got 12 games on Thursday. I'm excited. You're excited. We're all excited. We're going to try to hit a couple of home runs there. Carlos Correa, if you bet every single home run again on Wednesday, Carlos Correa in the second game ends up coming through for us, so that was nice. But anywho, enough gloating. Producer Jacob, let's get to the picks. Our first one right out the gate, Cleveland at Detroit. Jack Flaherty's very, very good here at the pitching, but we got that good weather for hitting yet again. That's why you're seeing some of these numbers that are a little bit higher than what I was expecting there. Cleveland is the dog against Jack Flaherty. That should tell you something too, because they're the markedly better team. But that wind's blowing ever so slightly out here for righties, and they're throwing out not as good a variety on the Cleveland side, as Spencer Howard is going to be taking the mound. 347 xWOBA, 42.7% hard hit, and has that fly ball tendency. Riley Green, hi. Colt Keith, hi. Looking at both of you. But I don't have a ton of exposure or any exposure to this game. I don't have a ton of interest in this game, if you will, here in the morning window. 1 p.m. start time, so get ready to rock. We'll talk about a play next that I think is actually a little bit more interesting, but let's keep things moving along. Over 8 or 8.5. If you had to fire up something there, again, the half run isn't as valuable on 8, the tie 4-4. We can have that conversation. Well, we've had that conversation a lot on this program. Let's just get to the next game, shall we? Colorado at Cincinnati here next. And one thing that I think, I'm not going to say that I've done wrong in my past here, but there's a lot of times that I don't get to give you unders on total base props. I don't get to give you the unders that I'm playing on a day-to-day basis. There's a lot of people over in the pick'em streets on Underdog, Prize Picks, things of that nature, where you're exclusively looking at total bases, fantasy points, things like that. DraftKings Pick 6 obviously being the best that if you have access to, you should be playing. But anyway, my whole point here is that I don't get to give you as many unders as I would like on this program, and here's why. People like to bet overs, first off. And the second part is that I do need to do a little bit more nuanced looking into the bullpens for some of them, because it's not square peg, square hole. Taking the last 10 games, I value the sample size. I then take a look on my projections based on what I believe is going to end up being the case. Launch angle, hard hit, strikeout rate, platoon, looking at things like that. And then factoring in the bullpen, because the unders, well, you really do want certain bullpen activities. And this one's a little bit dicey, but I do think I'm going to end up firing this one up. We are going to see some type of plus money on the over total bases going to Elly De La Cruz, but I'm going to be taking the under, and here's a couple of the reasons why. First off, Colorado, they're going to be throwing out another lefty soft tossing starter in favorable hitting conditions in the afternoon here. Austin Gomber, 15.7% K rate, bad. 338 xWOBA, bad. 9.7% barrel percentage, bad. I still think this is going to be 1.5 total bases, like plus 110, plus 115 on the Elly De La Cruz side, but I think I'm going to like the under coming in on this. I'm going to call it a lean for now. but he's a little bit worse from the right side of the plate, not markedly. It's about 15 points in the batting average, 238 going from the right side for him, going up against lefties, north of that 250 number, and then obviously stolen base upside against everybody. But I do think Great American Small Park, while it plays up for home runs, not exactly the forte here of Elly De La Cruz. He can smash baseballs from time to time. Do not get me wrong. That is not what I'm trying to say. He's not just Billy Hamilton in terms of the steals upside. He has 15 homers, 40 RBIs, 814 OPS. But I think you're going to get some type of value here coming in on the under for him on the short side of the platoon. As for the Cincinnati Red side, Hunter Green, he's my boy Blue. We're not going to be shorting the entire Cincinnati team here. In fact, if I were to look at anything, I would be looking at the Cincinnati side, potentially on the run line. But for now, I'm leaning Elly De La Cruz. Pay attention to these switch hitters, which side they're better on. Anthony Santander, obviously, Elly De La Cruz. I named two of them. Go me. There's a lot more than two switch hitters in baseball. Cal Raleigh is one of them. I promise I won't throw his name out too much this program. Washington and the Mets, METS, Mets. They come through, cash the run line. I ended up doing a small little double dip there. Not quite a full unit, but 0.75 units because I'm a disturbing person like that. But the number kept fluctuating all the way around, and I was trying to find somebody a buy in there. -102 was fine. Somebody got +110. I don't know where that showed up at, but congratulations to them. Cash your ticket. Patrick Corbin finally died. But completely different situation here with Mackenzie Gore versus David Peterson. I mean, these are two southpaws, and that's about where the comps end. We've got David Peterson does have a decent ground ball stuff, 53.8%, but it's getting hit hard. He's got a 368 xWOBA, but he's got only a 20.4% whiff percentage, whereas Mackenzie Gore has 10 points higher there, 30.4% whiff percentage, adding in a 27% K rate, 35.9% hard hit. Good numbers across the board. This is now going to be the third time in the last 3 weeks. One of them was a lock. We do not have a lock on this program. If you're mad at me about that, I apologize, but we just keep winning money, especially in the home run markets, and hopefully that's enough for you. It's enough for me. I am enough. That's what my therapist tells me. I like the first five here for Washington. We have a +115 at Hard Rock. Hey, Floridians, I said I was going to throw that out there. Best available line to you. I got it at +112 over at FanDuel. Hopefully, you can jump in somewhere there as well. Anything around that +110 number. I am interested to back Mackenzie Gore. First five, do not deal with this Washington bullpen. Pittsburgh at Milwaukee up next, and I have a play from this one too, also on FanDuel. A lot of FanDuel work got in today, that's for sure. Put in that work, Devin. Don't give up. DJ Khaled, the toothbrush commercial. I should probably just keep my hands away from my mouth when I'm doing the show. Anywho, we've got an interesting one here with Pittsburgh and Milwaukee, mainly because Paul Skeens mother trucker going up against Aaron Savale, the new Milwaukee Brewer. It's not that good, though. And whenever Tampa Bay cuts bait with a player, I get a little bit worried about him. 39.6% hard hit, 254 expected batting average, still a 23% K rate here. Interesting numbers, I would say, for him. And he's going up against Pittsburgh. We know that they're not very good, but they've got enough lefties where I think they can still make it hurt ever so slightly. Everybody hurts. 5.19 ERA, not good. 1.39 whip, not good. Had an interesting start against the Dodgers, but that's the Dodgers. We won't look too far into that, but I am going to be looking at it over here, and here's why. I think we're going to have Paul Skeens still walk into some of these spots and have some struggles. Now, he doesn't look like he's going to struggle at any point getting strikeouts. He's a 22-year-old phenom. He's outrageous. Hashtag Livy Dunn once again. But we've got Milwaukee. They continue to be top 10 in WRC+. 111 WRC+ against righties on the season. And I just expected them to free fall it back to the bottom half or to the middle of the major leagues in that department. But it hasn't happened. It has not happened. So, square peg, square hole once again. I think over 7.5 looks really good here. At 8, probably going to be passing depending on what that juice is. But 7.5, I can get behind it here. Currently -112 at FanDuel. Give me anything inside of -115. 7.5, that'll be a play on the over. And this is a play on OddsShopper. You go to the link below, friends, and you get the OS premium tools. We're talking the Fantasy Optimizer. We're talking the Positive EV tool. It is so much smarter than you could possibly believe. It is taking multiple sports books within your state It is aggregating a bunch of data together, giving some weights to different sports books based on what we perceive as sharp, what we perceive as not as sharp, and it is giving you the best plays on a day in, day out basis. You go through that method, you talk about it in the premium Discord as well. Lots of really sharp people there, Ben Razum, myself, Greg Ehrenberg, happy to help you in that department, but you sign up down for that at the link below. Plus, you'll get the Discord insider access. You can come talk crap to me. You can come tell me how smart I am from time to time. You can come tell me that I talk too much on the show. I'm just fine with that. That's okay. It's all right. It kind of affects me a little bit. But $14.95 weekly, $49.95 monthly. And if you use promo code Lindy, you get 20% off expert picks, Discord, premium tools, all in one package. Back to the picks we go. Would love to see you there, my friends. Lots of new faces. Great faces, great places. South Dakota. That was my old state's. My home state. I miss it sometimes. Deadwood has great gambling. Back to the picks we got. Oh, Kevin Gausman. 10 strikeouts against Seattle looks awfully nice, doesn't it? Well, kind of a similar spot here in some ways. San Francisco on the other side of this one. We have Austin Slater shipped out to Boston, actually to Cincinnati, but shipping out to Cincinnati doesn't really have the same flow to it. So I understand why Dropkick Murphys did it that way. But Kevin Gausman, the strikeout stuff, the splitter, if you will, it always makes me think of Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I have way too much pop culture in my brain, but all right, back to the baseball. Kevin Gausman, I like the ladders up to 8 here. The splitter, if it's working, you're going to see a lot of strikeout bats at the top of this lineup and a lot of righties that he should be able to take advantage of. And this is a great pitching ballpark. I find it pretty advantageous to back him here. I don't have a lot to add for Jordan Hicks, the former St. Louis Cardinal, when he was a bullpen arm. Now he is a starter. Hasn't gone as well for him. 335 xWOBA, 42.6% hard hit. But I don't really want to go out of my way with Toronto having only those 2, maybe 3 lefties, depending on Kevin Kiermaier's day of the month. That sounds a weird way of saying that. Spencer Horwitz will definitely be in this lineup. He will definitely be in this lineup. Kevin Kiermaier. Oh, yeah, and Dalton Varsho has been terrible. But we're going to look at Kevin Gausman and a ladder. Chaos is a ladder. Heard that from Game of Thrones. House of the Dragon's been good this season. Chapman, Ramos, Yastrzemski, Conforto, both. I mean, everybody's got north of a 24% K rate here. Pay attention to Jorge Soler. Got scratched. See if he's going to be available to come back here. But I'm going to be paying very close attention to this one. Kevin Gausman, K ladder up to 8 potentially here. Want to pay a lot of attention here. Dodgers and Philly up next, and your first and favorite home run play out of everything here in this one? Well, it's an interesting one because, well, Kyle Schwarber was like a freebie. Shout out Eitan Shander for involving me in all that goodness, telling me how I'm crazy on, what is it, like Hoagie's Day or something? Is that like a wah-wah Philadelphia thing? I dated a girl from Philly once. I don't want to talk about it. But Philadelphia, this is an interesting one with Aaron Nola on the mound. Not going to be looking at many Dodgers props here unless something shoots out with value, but I'm going to be looking at Landon Knack getting targeted. 48.5% hard hit, 20.4 degree average launch angle, good hitting weather yet again here, wind blowing out with an 11.3% barrel percentage. Probably are going to look at a super short number for Schwarber and Marsh. And Bryce Harper did not make the lineup here on Wednesday. Does he come back on Thursday? We will find out, friends. We will find out. But in the meantime, not Trey Turner this time around. We're going Alec Boehm, 45.2% hard hit, 304 expecting batting average. But the main thing, he's been downright good slugging the baseball. 486 expected slugging, 12.4 degree average launch angle. I think we're going to get better than plus 320 on him, and we are going to bet better than plus 320 on Alec Boehm in these hitting conditions. He's got to ramp up for a home run derby. One of the 8 guys showing up there. Let's get a jump start on that practice on Thursday, shall we? Good talk. Glad we had it. And to my favorite outright of the day here, Chicago taking on Baltimore. And this just is starting pitchers. I could have gone to the first 5 market, but unlike when I went to look at Mackenzie Gore's first 5, this one was a little bit more lopsided than I was willing to be backing. So I'm going to deal with the Chicago Cubs bullpen here. Justin Steele and Albert Suarez. If you just look at the starters, Justin Steele being a lefty going into Baltimore where righty power doesn't play up nearly as much, that's a good advantage to have here. 346 expected slugging, 274 xWOBA. What I'm concerned about is no Cody Bellinger in that lineup here for Thursday. Now, he hasn't had a very good year by StatCast data standpoint. 34.1% hard hit, 292 xWOBA is really paltry. 378 expected slugging. I mean, he's had some really good years. He's had some really bad years here in recent go of it, but The Dodgers cut bait with it, and then James Outman came out last season, and then James Outman was terrible to start off this year, and now he's back up there. We'll see how he fares this time around. But as I look at this, Albert Suarez is not nearly as good. 36.4% hard hit with a 16.5 degree average launch angle. Not a ton of lefties to take advantage of this type of situation where Albert Suarez is the one helming a baseball. That's not the right way of saying it. But Ian Happ, switch hitter. I think there's enough there. Christopher Morel, just from a power standpoint, I think there's enough there. And then Michael Busch, 451 expected slugging. Feel good about his profile up against Albert Suarez. This is really just me wanting to back Justin Steele at a plus money number in a ballpark that is much more difficult for righty power than it is for lefty power. That was the right way of saying it. Better for left-handed pitchers than it is for right-handed pitchers. Way to explain that one like shit, Eric. Plus 114 over on FanDuel. I like it. This number moves a little bit. It wouldn't completely shock me. So I have a little bit of a play down here right now. I'm going to probably add a little bit more to it later. I'm just going to track that line movement here, but anything better than plus 110 is going to be on the card for that full half unit eventually. The Yankees and Tampa Bay just going to be a lean for me. I've not had any interest in betting this series whatsoever because, well, you can pick and choose your spots. And Shane Baz, he came back to us. Nestor Cortez, he's been good this entire season whenever healthy, and they kind of need that. But Shane Baz, 6 innings pitched right out of the gate, 6 strikeouts, 3 earned. Pretty decent stuff from Shane Baz. He was really good last season. Hopefully he can get back. I mean, they have a lot of arms that are just waiting in the wings. Hopefully going to get back here eventually. In tons of injuries. But Nestor Cortez, 288 x WOBA. I can speak words. Unique New York. It's ironically New York. 23.8% K rate. If you made me pick, though, I think there's a little bit more value going to the Tampa Bay side. Plus 110 going their direction on FanDuel. Again, it's just a market disparity. 10-cent difference than every other place. You look at something like that and, well, I'm going to lean that direction, but I'm not going to bet it. Definitely bet on BetMGM, though, friends. First bet safety net up to $1,500. Get your bonus bets down at the link below. Really good stuff. I don't have a whole lot else to add. If you haven't signed up for it yet, what are you waiting for? Get another sportsbook in your portfolio and take advantage of a huge deal where you can deposit $25, $50, $100, whatever it is. Bet $500, $799.99, whatever you want on that first bet. If it wins, keep the money. If it loses, get it back in bonus bets. Take a big swing and a miss, and then get more ammo. It's really great. It's a really great opportunity signing up at BetMGM with this kind of a deal in place. So at the link below, sign up, get another sportsbook into the portfolio. Only if you're 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Back to the picks we go. What do we got? 4 games left. Hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Yeah, we're 66.6% of the way. The devil's tool. But I have nothing for you here. Oakland and Boston. Yet again, great hitting weather. Yet again, we'll find some curious way of being disappointed by this baseball game. I got to tell you, I mean, just looking through my notes from yesterday, over 9.5 was a lean. Really happy we did not pull the trigger on that one because, well, they left their bats at home, Boston did, after putting up 50 gazillion runs on Tuesday. Wednesday just felt like a fall flat spot, and boy, did they fall flat. It was pretty awful to watch. Had some DFS exposure to it, like most people did, but again, check out Stokastic. Check out the fantasy channel as we're talking through a lot of the stuff there. But in this specific case, I mean, you have Mason Miller. He'll be opportunities, had like the whole week off, and it's what it is. I mean, he's so freaking good. And you got Funky, Cole Medina, Tanner Houck, but you just don't have numbers that are bettable. I'm not going to lay minus 230, minus 220 on the Boston side. I mean, it's just all over the place. Minus 208, minus 235. You'd think there was something to mine out there, but really, there's not. It's not going to move inside of the number. There's not going to be an arbitrage opportunity there, and they're not going to move it, inside of minus 195. It's going to be plus 200 tops on the Oakland side, and it's plus 180 at every other book besides FanDuel right now. Plus 184. 14-cent disparity, and I still don't have interest in going to it. That should tell you something. It's a pretty unbettable spot. But Boston on the run line, if you absolute have to have it, but I like the next game for the run line a little bit more, not laying minus 108 on the Boston side for this one. So minus 110, minus 108, kind of the prevailing number on the run line. Let's go to an even money run line, shall we? And that is Miami at Houston. I like the Houston side of this one. Pretty clear cut for me. You get a Miami team that is just in free fall mode. And then Rodri Munoz is one of the worst starters in baseball. 13.1% barrel percentage, 526 expected slugging, 20.5% K rate. Pay attention. Yordan Alvarez did end up, I was going to lock this, by the way. Just wanted to throw that out there for the people. This was going to be the lock, and I ended up liking a play a little bit better there with the Cubs money line, and then didn't end up locking that one. And then also Yordan Alvarez goes down and hadn't pulled the trigger on this bet yet. Now I did. So now we're invested at even money no matter what. But here's what it is. I think Houston's just a much, much better team. As for their starter, I don't think he's going to be very long for this baseball game. If you didn't know who he is, my sheet is updating here. It's Mr. Blas. Yeah, Jake Blas. There we go. 4.91 ERA. We only saw 3 2/3 there, 79 pitches, but AAA, 23 years old, got up to 55 pitches his last time out. Looks as though it's going to be a fantastic matchup going against Miami. Only, 60, 65 pitches for him. And then bullpens. You get to play the platoon. You get to play a lot of matchups. Always advantageous. And then helps to have like a Josh Hader there closing left on left for Jesus Sanchez, Jazz Chisholm, if those matchups appear. So, Houston on the run line, -1.5. I like it. Next game. Another home run to fire up here. Seattle and LA. We're looking at pretty advantageous hitting weather. I mean, Mickey Moniak just hit an absolute bomb out of Angel Stadium. Plays up for lefty power. It's really nice. It's a short little ballpark for lefty power. Lowered that line a couple years ago. Shohei Ohtani enjoyed it. But Julio Rodriguez, we're going to look at him, and we're going to look at a Seattle total here because I have a lot of notes on this Jack Kakanowicz guy. It's named Jack Kakanowicz. He's playing Major League Baseball. We're not. But in Double-A, again, he's going from Double-A to Triple-A. 3.28 xFIP looks good. But the 4.55 ERA does not. He had a pretty low strikeout rate at Double-A, 20.1% K rate. They're potentially going to need him to eat some innings here, pending what happens here with the bullpen situation. But we're starting to see signs of life from Mr. Julio Rodriguez and these Seattle Mariners, who have been winning baseball games kind of sneakily, a little bit under the radar this entire season. But Julio, 256 batting average, 9 homers, 32 RBIs. Not what you're expecting from your franchise player by any means, but I think we're going to see that heat up here a little bit over the summer, especially when he gets out of Seattle, one of the most cavernous ballparks that this Lord ever did make, or whomever you pray to. I don't know. Alec Marsh. I don't know why I was bringing up Alec Marsh. I don't know. Anyway, just yelling at Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. But Kakanowicz is not very good, and we're going to target him in some kind of capacity. Julio Rodriguez, give me better than plus 420. That's a little bit short. It's a little bit short. That may or may not end up there. As I said before, I like the Alec Bohm one a lot. But in this specific spot, we are going to be looking much more at the Seattle team total ladder. Chaos is a ladder. But yeah, Julio Rodriguez starting to look a lot better on paper. And the last game of the evening, we are going Max Fried versus God knows who. And you know what happens when you see God knows who out there? It means that it is going to be brutality on the other side for Arizona, more than likely. Oh, look at that. They just announced, as I'm talking about this, that never happens. Brandon Pfaadt going to get activated. He's going to be back out there. Ooh, we're going to do this live. I'm going to do a couple of my clicks here. Now, one of the things when somebody comes off the IL, you got to assume that there's going to be no pitch count. Oh, I'm going to get to do all of this live. Because Troy Lavello, he just said that Brandon Pfaadt is probably going to start on Thursday. So, okay. He ends up negative. X-rays negative on the leg. Yeah, I don't care about those beat writer notes. I care about AAA notes. Where was his pitch count? We're doing this live. It's so fun. It is an enjoyable experience. You know what? We're just going to make this Arizona as a lean for right now, even though Max Fried is fan-frickin-tastic. Plus 114, going to the Arizona side at open. Probably going to have to get away from it. So pay attention to me tomorrow. At Eric Lindquist, you can ask me questions there. And then check out the premium Discord. Let's get ourselves the heck up out of here. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board for this massive 12-gamer we have before us. Not quite 17 like Wednesday, but I think I'm going to end up having more plays on this Thursday card. Betting throughout the day, always fun. Check out the premium Discord to come enjoy the ride for that. Check out BetMGM as well. Good stuff overall. Thank you, producer Jacob. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Back up. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Thursday. It's like it was my first time doing that show.